Radio Radicale, we are with Gebran Bassil, former minister, former foreign minister. We want to speak about the situation of Christians in Middle Orient. We know that there is a difficult situation in Lebanon, in Syria, in Iraq. We want to know what is the situation of Christians in Middle Orient, who aid the Christians for survivor for the persecution of Muslim.
No, it is a very complex situation, and it is the way that Christians should survive in our region is not by defying or fighting others or isolating themselves from others. It is by opening, because they are part of the regions they are enrooted in it, and they have a message of tolerance, accepting the other, living with the other. So the problem is different. The problem is coming from the so-called plots against the region that are made in a way to destabilize the region and disintegrate the states, to create small or mini states based on confessionalism, each state with a confession that will be fighting each other, okay? Like the Jewish state, and then Christian state, and Shia state, and Sunni state. So these states will end up fighting in endless conflicts, and this will create and is creating the migration of Christians from the region. And this has been financed and armed by foreign countries, okay? Whereas this money could be put in a much less quantities to develop these countries, to develop Christians and Muslims and Jews and everybody, so they can live together. There is no place for such conflicts and peace together. We have to choose. We want peace, human rights, or we want conflicts and divisions, and terrorism and extremism. So this is what's causing this kind of conflicts, what's causing the mass movements of populations from the east to the west, among them Christians. Christians are more vulnerable because they are in less numbers, but their presence is not related to their number. Their presence is related to their message. So important is to have this message spread. The fear of their extermination in the region should be replaced by their effort to be in the core of the projects of the region about development, about renaissance, okay, and what's going on in the region. There is the Saudi Arabia efforts now to develop the Middle East and turn it into the new Europe, and Lebanon should be in the core of this, and the Christians should not be marginalized. So it will be no more about their right to practice or to exercise their faith. They can live their faith freely, but they should also live freely with their concepts of life, with their specificities, with their habits, social, economical, political presence and role. And this is the challenge for them. And this is where they should ascertain their role in such a way that they refuse marginalization. And this is the new challenge to come. They will be always little in numbers, okay, but they should find a way to be always the special taste of the region, not by confronting others, else by being part of this renaissance of the region. They were the core of creating states in the region, of creating the idea of living together, the idea of citizenship and civil states. Now they should be in the core of creating modern states, developed, and this is their role, bridging between East and West, Europe and the Middle East, to create this development instead of of facing only terrorism and extremism. And this is why we are here today to highlight this idea and to watch out that Europe should be financing this development, not financing the stay of the Syrians and Palestinians and Lebanon, rather bringing them back to their countries. This financing is much less expensive on European taxpayers, on Italians, you know, where Italy is facing a problem of migration. How do you face it? You face it by helping the countries from where the migrants are coming to be developed.
Yes.
You know, and if you need labor force from there, no problem to have it, like we do with Syrians, with other nationalities, but not to do it in a massive way that changes the identity of your country, of your people. So if no more Italians in Italy and they are replaced by many other nationalities, what's the use? If no Lebanese in Lebanon and they are replaced by Syrians and Palestinians and other nationalities, and more important, if no Christians in the Levant,
Yes.
what remains of Christianity in the world? The source is there. You lose the source.
Yes. Who is the first friend of European Union of the Christian or Middle Orient? France, Italy. Who is the country who look at with attention this question?
You know, we want all countries to look at and attention to us. Some understand us more, some understand us less. But they should all accept what we want because we know what is better for us. Nobody can shape our future. We have to shape our future. We want Italy and France and all other European countries to not interfere in our internal affairs, rather to help us to agree internally and to help us removing from the foreign interferences in our affairs so they can help us, as I said, to preserve our model of, of coexistence and living together. And this is the help that we need from countries that see the interest of keeping Lebanon similar to Europe, not an antidote to, in the opposite direction of it.
Yes. Europe, about the situation of Turkey, what do you hope for the presidential election? You hope the hand of the government of Erdogan?
You know, it's up to the Turks to decide on their president, on their government. We don't have a say. We want to be in good relations with Turkey, whoever is the president. And we have good ties, very good ties with the current president and the current government and the current Minister of Foreign Affairs. We have an understanding of how we should differently forge our relations in a way to help the Syrians to go back to their country, to have a free and united Syria in order to help to have a free and united Lebanon. So every state in its state will help give solidarity and immunity to the state from inside, and good relations with the neighboring countries without any state interfering into others' affairs.
The last question: what are the relation about Israel? We have seen at the beginning of Netanyahu government there are many questions about the reform of justice. What do you say about? What do you see about the situation in Israel?
Definitely, Israel is going through unprecedented events. They are clearly described. You know, the division within their social, classes, political classes. They are very much different in economy and justice, as you are seeing. And on top to their last losses in wars, this should be a lesson to Israel. They should find a different way to deal with their neighbors, not by force, rather by dialogue, not by imposing conditions and stealing rights, rather by giving rights. And if they don't follow this, I see a dark future for Israel, whether if they concede to deal differently based on concepts of peace and rights. I think this is their only way to be able to cope in this region. They cannot impose their model on ours. You know, we are a multicultural, a multi-religious region, and we want to preserve it as such. And the Jews were present in Lebanon. You know, there is no problem with the Jews. There is no problem with the religion at all. There is a problem with governments or regime who are seeking force, you know, and aggressing other countries' rights.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Gebran Bassil. I thank you. Thanks the Gebran Bassil, former foreign minister of Lebanon. We have to talk about the situation of Christian in Middle Orient. Thank you.